Great peace, great peace, great peace, Shakoki. Let's talk about this. Reports are in, reports are in. I'm constantly looking for new information. I'm constantly looking for things to kind of put logic behind and evaluate so other people can go on their journey and learn and, try to springboard off of what has already been set for us. A person, right? This is the time where like all the Welsh people get together in America, all the Russian people, and they orient, right? They orient. They do the whole powwow thing. This is the time where you see black folks in the South. They get together, they do their family reunions, they do their barbecues, and they sanction their business. So that's what they do. But the thing about the powwows is that, I've kind of been in courtesy to figure out that when there's a situation arising where you have a person who feels neglectful or they feel, obscenely disrespected, right? They tend to back off the idea of choosing a corner sides with not only a person, but the entire group of which that person comes from, the entire ethnicity, the entire nationhood of that person. You see it, right? So blacks have been sort of categorized as being vigilantes in the escape of the whole narrative that, we were brought over here on slave ships. And, some natives, right, who go to the powwows, they carry on with that tradition of telling, certain fabricated stories about, a history that's been given to them, right? It's not a history that they improved upon, once their elders told them these stories. So there's the situation where you have people who are crowded, to take people's advice, to, become one with them out of certain unknown or unpleasurable, even also unsynchronized, quiet and silent disagreements. So I just saw, a guy, he was getting arrested. He couldn't have been no more than like 19, 18. He was getting arrested and he was sitting on the bumper of a sheriff's car and he was crying. He was very frustrated. And the people in the background were telling him like, you'll be okay. Just stay in there and, do what you got to do. You'll come out, you'll get out, you ain't gonna get much time for, having a pole, a weapon, right? So I'm thinking like, another black man was about to get shot. Another black man was about to get killed. And it took white policy enforcers to stop it. It's like black people aren't protecting their own interests. African people are not protecting their own interests. They're not. So had someone gotten killed, right, there would have been community unrest. There's already community unrest in a lot of cities. People aren't coming outside. People aren't walking through the parks. People aren't traveling on the highways. People aren't traveling with their kids, That's a large part of what you see in the black community. It's black women and black men breaking up, because the woman feels unsafe. The man, he doesn't feel encouraged to take care of his responsibility. He feels neglectful out of the sequence that his father neglected him. So there's that carry on and there's that, cause and effect. So again, you hear in the background, there's a lot of police activity. How do you get behind an administration, or how do you get behind a thought that's going to encourage everybody to come to like a peaceful resourcefulness? You know, at this point, like there's no validation to that point. No, there's no closure. When it gets hot in America, that's when all the cowboys come out. When it gets hot in America, that's when all the Indians come out. You know, so my only advice in this situation is that people not cosplay, people not think that life being lost is a joke. You know, I've seen too much of it living in Chicago. I've seen too much of it. I've seen too much of it living in Mississippi. You know, it's not a joke, you know, so my last words. Take advice and take heed. Great peace, Shako.